that guy of delivery.
How you doing, Miss Nyamach? Welcome to Lake State
Hi,
Media. How are you?
thank you. I'm okay.
Welcome to Lake State Media. It is my honor to host you today on Lake State Media. You are welcome to be live with us. And before we go to our live interview, I would like to address the audience of the Lake State Media. Everybody is welcome. And also, I would like to acknowledge them that this week, which is yesterday, Lake State, we had lost uh, our father and hero and grandfather, Dr. Henry Makanyi, and as the son of Lake State, I would like to honor him by giving 1 minute silence to honor him, because the whole South Sudan is heartbroken because he's somebody that had been on the front line of change, of which we are in right now. We are in such a good country because of people like him, and I would like to recognize him, though he's my relative, but on a national level, I would like to recognize him. So let's give 1 minute silence. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Nyamach. Thank you. Thank you. I will not speak about the biography of Dr. Henry, because it is recent and we are still very sad, and it will take a little while for us to talk about his biography, but it was our honor here on Lake State Media to give a silence. Thank you. Ms. Nyamach, I'm very happy to see you today. It had been a long time. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. Welcome to Lake State Media. I would like to talk about the recent assemble of the SPLM in government, and really SPLM of General Pagana Momo Okech and Ssuf of General Malong Awan. On March 8, 2021, the Ssuf, led by Chairman General Paul Malong, and the real SPLM led by its Chairman General Pagana Mom Okech, met with the government of Artigono at NAIVASHA, Kenya. What were they assembled for?
Yes, as you said, between the 8th and 12th of March 2021, the Santigidio Initiative for Political Dialogue in South Sudan was held in Naivasha, Kenya, in coordination with the Kenyan government, as well as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Kenya. The meeting agenda was to discuss and recommit to the cessation of COA, which was signed on Monday when the meeting was opened, and on the second session we had discussed and signed the recommitment to the ceasefire COA, and then on the fourth day, which was on Thursday, we managed to, the leaders ended up signing the Declaration of Principles. So those were the agendas uh, in Naivasha, Kenya. Uh, the talks were between Monday to Thursday, 4 days, and then on Friday, uh, the General Malong and General Pagan also went to meet with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Um, Kalonzo also was a special envoy who was also a signatory to the documents. So things went, it was a fruitful dialogue. At least there was an outcome with a few challenges. So this is what we were in Naivasha for, to meet the Artigono. So it was not just SPLM, it was the revitalized government all represented, and the delegation was led by Dr. Barnaba Mariel Benjamin, and our delegation was led by General Paganamo and General Paul Malone.
Thank you. Did Artigono engage Soma and realize SPLM separately from other allies, or they combined them? Because I know before there was disagreement. So this time, have the Artigono combined the sub led by General Paul Malone and real SPLM led by General Pagana Momo Kech. Have you guys were you guys assembled together, or were you engaged separately?
Well, some in this round were only consisted of Ssuf A and real SPLM. As for the other group of Soma, of NAS, they were not with us this time, but it was also discussed that they have already been engaging under those pieces of Santigidio with the government, the Archigono, the same way we're being engaged. But it was also our hope that there would be a unification of Soma so that we can continue with the peace talks as a joint alliance, not separately.
Is the government of Artigono uh, are you parties uh, looking for the same sharing powers, or different from group to group?
We have not discussed anything to do with power sharing. If it's a stage that people are going to reach, it's still not the time. The issues we were discussing were a cessation of hostilities and the recommitment to the Rome Declaration and uh, the Declaration of Principles. And now that we have signed the Declaration of Principles, yeah, it will pave way now for the real talks, the details. Now we can discuss the details of raising the root causes and the way forward. So no, we have not started the real negotiations yet. So without the declaration of principles, there wouldn't be peace talks. But now that we have crossed over and both parties of Artigono and Soma have agreed and signed on the articles on the declaration of principles, now we have a way forward to start the real negotiations and uh, raise the root causes.
Uh,
So
on the
there's nothing on power sharing, and we are not for positions. We are for raising the root causes.
Okay, on the date of the committee, have the government and alliance addressed those root causes of the political concern, and to solve the problem which is going on right now?
Yet the details will be discussed during the continued coming dialogues. Right now, we just agreed on the principles, declaration of principles, and this means that we have now agreed on the points that we'll focus on. Yeah. So the articles were discussed in depth, and it varied from a lot of issues, varying from uh, the national security to the land issues. And once we all um, found a meeting ground, and this is how we came about to signing the Declaration of Principle as a guiding document now for the peace talks.
Okay. Uh, when I heard you about you and all and the other SOMA members, if the government engage them together, is because I had a concern because I had a concern on the other side of other alliance because on March 12th, other Soma alliance rebels killed peoples in Kejikeji and Numli. Is that not a peace violations?
Yes, as I've told you, the other Somas have been continue engaging, and I understand during the last dialogue that was held in Rome, which we were not part of, uh, the Soma consisting of NAS and other groups, they had they had not signed the recommitment to the ceasefire. They had initialed. So if they're breaching it, that's an issue between them and the Artigonu. As some are a faction of the real SPLM and SSUF, we have signed the recommitment to the ceasefire and we have not breached it since.
Thank you. On the principle, I had two two line of the principle declaration that I would like to ask about. Uh, on the seventh principle of declaration, it says secular, democratic, and multi-party federal state based on equal citizenship shall be established in South Sudan. What does that mean?
Article 7, a secular, democratic, and multi party federal state based on equal citizenship shall be established in South Sudan. So it basically means South Sudan will be a citizenship based. So all these things that are causing division, communal conflicts should be avoided. South Sudan should be based on citizenship, and this is what will bring us unification. So this is what the article means: a citizenship based country, nation.
Thank you. What about the civil and political, cultural, and economic rights of all South Sudanese citizens shall be upheld and guaranteed by law?
What
That's what,
article are you on now?
that's Article number 6.
The civil and political, cultural, and economical rights of all South Sudanese shall be upheld and guaranteed by law. Yeah. So we need to be, and if we should already have been a state based on the rule of law.
Thank you. What measures can you take in a past conflict reconstruction process to discourage corruption since two leaders, Malong and Pagan, were part of government 2013 to 2016?
Measures coming from us as Soma.
Let me read the question again. I said, what measures can you take in past conflict? Because we have a two conflict. We have a conflict of 2013 and 2016. So what measures can you take in past conflict reconstruction process to discourage corruption since two leaders, Malong and Pagan, were part of the government by that time?
Yeah, of course they were, and I believe General Pagan is still his position as the Secretary General of SPLM party is still vacant. So we're still considering the Secretary General, and General Malong, as we all know, was held several positions, and before he left the country, he was the General Chief of Staff. And post conflict, as you have mentioned, 2013 and 2016, of course, we need reforms, institutional reforms, a system reform to put the country back in order, back to normalcy, and fight corruption, eventually eradicate it.
Thank you. And what are the different or change your leaders who are now negotiating with the government going to bring to fix root cause of crisis in South Sudan? Since majority of South Sudanese think both of your leaders are the root cause of the problem in South Sudan, because that's what a lot of people think. So, because a lot of people think that before the war, uh, the group of those of Mr. Pagana Mom and other group, which were called, if I can remember, uh, the, those of Mr. Pagan, those of um, Majanga God, those of Madame Nyanding, So at that time, people think that they were the root cause of 2013 problem. And recently again, people thought that King Paul Malone is another root cause of the problem, which uh, which is what people think. Okay, so what change uh, will they bring now to convince South Sudanese about their thinking?
As General Paul Malong and General Pagan would always mention, and they are liberators. They fought for this country, so they know all these things, and they're part of the nation. They're still the historical leaders to date, and we still acknowledge them as such. So for them to still want a peaceful approach is because they want to see changes. It's not for individual gains. It's not position. They're not for position. They have already done their part, and they would just like to see a nation moving forward with a clear vision that will favor the younger generation and the future generation. So they're more uh, systematic reform based, and they want development infrastructure. So these are the things they want to see. It's not even for themselves, because they know the people who are already messing up the system right now. Those in the regime, the country is already being run by hijackers, non-SPLM. And if you see these two leaders that you have mentioned, General Paul Malong and General Pagano, among the historical leaders, they brought us South Sudan that we have today under the leadership of the late Dr. John Garang. So, if anything, it's for the best of the people of South Sudan. It's not for personal reasons.
Thank you. I know when we talked, you always repair to King Paul Malong and General Pagana Mom that they don't want positions. They don't want positions. So, what are they asking government to do since they don't want positions? I know you said that they want the root cause of the problem. What about after the root cause being solved? Is the government taking them to Juba and let them live as normal citizens without any powers?
Well, they want reforms. Yeah, they don't want the recurring failed transitions. Every time there's an agreement signed, yeah, you know how many agreements have been signed so far. but they have never been implemented. It's been a year since the RCs has been signed, but implementation has been an issue within Juba regime right now. So what they want is to address the root causes, yes, and even if we sign any agreements, let them be implemented. And they don't want this whole let's sign an agreement, let's have a transitional period that will lead to the elections, but then there's always delay tactics being played in Juba and those running the system at the moment. So if we're going to negotiate with Artigono in good faith, and if we're going to sign any agreements with them, we want to see results. We need to see progress. We don't just want to have, continued talks without an outcome. And every time something is signed, we want to see uh, progress. The people of South Sudan are tired of hearing peace is coming, peace is coming. But then when agreements are signed, such as RCs, nothing is implemented. So it's the focus on addressing the root causes. Let's discuss and find a way forward as South Sudanese to to resolve these issues and and fix the challenges that we have as a people in South Sudan, and as well make sure that agreements are implemented in paper and in spirit and in practice. So this is their main goal.
Thank you. We heard a lot about agreement being implemented. There are so many agreements being implemented, but they did not bring a long-lasting peace. And my surprise is when you went to Italy, it was the same declaration of principle that was discussed. And when you went to NAIVASHA, it was the same declaration of 9 principles that had been addressed. Why the government, the real SPLM, and other Soma group, why are they dwelling on these 9 principles? Why the peace is not moving forward to see other things that can bring it together and end it up?
Yes, the last time we had gone to Rome, as you understood, the split of Soma happened. So we did not really discuss or sign any declaration of principles or the recommitment to the ceasefire. So the same agenda is what we had to bring back and table it in NAIVASHA, which was a success. As you have seen, we had already signed the declaration of principle. So now it will be put into practice and will be implemented.
So now, since the declaration of principle is being negotiated and being signed, what will be the next move?
Now we will have an agenda, and we'll schedule a time to have a continued dialogue to start the real negotiations now and discuss things in details. Every article that we have in the Declaration of Principle, it will now be discussed in details, and this is where the talks will begin. So
But
it's a guiding document.
okay, but the government don't tell you another group that uh, at this moment both of you will be combined together so we can uh, have a talk together and peace will be achieved as a unit, because this breaking up of Soma bother me a lot, because I look at it as government is concentrating on one group and leaving other group aside, isn't it?
Like I'd mentioned before, that the Soma leadership, which was in Naivasha, consisting of SSUFA and the real SPLM, we had already taken that opportunity to appeal for the reunification of the two parties, of the two Somas. so that we can be engaged as one entity under one umbrella as an alliance. Yeah.
What was the response of the government?
The community of Santigidio will all talks with them and try to bring them into the same table next time, if possible.
Thank you. I will take some question from audience for now. If I have if any good question come up. Okay. Okay. Okay, I got a question from Makwena Cook. Here's a good question. He says, is Malong and Pagan willing to join SPLM in government?
That's a complete question.
That's the complete question. No, is this?
Oh, Makwei Akok Mel, is Malong and Pagan willing to join SPLM in government? You already know that General Malong and General Pagan are already liberators as SPLM members. So we have not started the peace talks yet, and these are the details that will be discussed in a later occasion. So I cannot tell you if they're joining SPLM in the government. Right now, they stand as real SPLM and SSUFA.
Thank you, Ms. Nyamach. It was great talking to you today. We will follow up with the peace agreement, both sides, and anytime you go to NAIVASHA, we will bring you live and other members of the SOMA group. It was my honor to host you, and next time we will still be live if new development is achieved. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.